Hello again and welcome to another episode of Inside Out Health. In my first video I discussed a little about what has occurred with me over the past 9 months, but today I want to focus on more recent events and also look at some practical and useful approaches that have and continue to work for me. The idea behind Buddhist philosophy is that the mind is everything. What a man thinks, he becomes. Thought and emotion are like bread and butter, they go hand in hand. They together form our personality. In terms of healing, thinking is critical and emotions must learn to be controlled. But it's harder than a lot of people think. When we develop different thoughts about life and different emotions in response to those thoughts, patterns emerge. And just as a river is formed due to a constant flow, so it is with us. And often the river is difficult to divert. For example, as a father, I see my children constantly seeking some kind of stimulus, whether it be from YouTube, food, arguing with a sibling, or just lost in their own world of imagination. They are continually active, and when their mind is overstimulated, getting them to calm down and focus, especially when it comes to educating them, is quite the task. That is because their senses are bombarded, especially in this present world. And while they are in a constant heightened state, it's not easy bringing them down. Another example I like to think of is Tarzan. He is a human raised with gorillas. If we were to tell him, after just meeting him, to act as a human would, could he? No, he couldn't. Even if he had a human to compare himself to, he would have to unlearn and relearn how to behave as a human. This is exactly what we must do in order to gain control over our thoughts and emotions. But I know it's a lot easier said than done. Until recently, when I heard of something being psychological, I would immediately think it was an issue fabricated by the mind and that a person was simply imagining their condition and therefore must be able to snap out of it. Which is why I constantly dismiss this as pertaining to my condition. But once I made the connection that the body and mind were inseparable, I saw things in a different light, and I wasn't so put off and intimidated by the fact that yes, it is psychological, as well as biological. But telling someone to stop thinking a certain way after doing it for so long is like telling the sky to stop being blue, or the sun to stop shining. It's not that simple. Those thoughts and emotions are embedded and seem real because they are real to that individual. But as we all know, incorrect thoughts and emotions are damaging to both mind and body, so they must be uprooted. Here are 3 steps to begin the process. Step 1. Calm down by slowing down. I make a conscious effort to slow down my thoughts and actions. When I feel myself slipping back into overdrive, I take a step back and evaluate my thoughts and actions. Step 2. Breathing. One of the hardest things I've faced has been overcoming breathing obsession. There were weeks on end where I felt like my own life support. It seemed as though I could not breathe if it were not a conscious effort, like I had lost the will or desire to breathe. So I had to reset my breathing pattern. It's something I'm still learning, but it's so necessary. Improper breathing can alter your pH, your circulation, and even your visual perception. The most simple technique I've found is to slow down. Less is more. Slow down and be consistent. It makes a world of difference. Step 3. Let go of the fear. Fear and worry feed any ill effect on the mind and body. Referred to as the nocebo effect, worry and fear can induce sickness and disease in both body and mind. I have become a lot better at controlling fear and worry, yet it is so easy to steer back into its direction after being held in its grip for so long. The trick is to not be overwhelmed by it. It will come and it will go, and eventually it will be less frequent depending on how much attention I give it. Don't hate it, don't be afraid of it. Simply give it no place in your heart and mind, and it will visit less and less often. And most importantly, replace fear. Replace it with hope and love. For the outcome of hope and love is a lot better than the outcome of fear and worry. Thanks again for watching, and I'll leave you with just one more thought. In my darkest hours of insomnia, where the mind and body were at wit's end, I thought about the countless soldiers that had to endure many sleepless nights in constant fear of their lives. If many of them can recover from the perilous ordeals they faced, then so can I.